Hey, welcome back to Ping Pong Flicks. My name is Chris Wong. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you ate a lot. I hope you have a lot of leftovers so you can have some breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next several days, because I know I have. But Black Friday is here and it's been pretty crazy. And as I was at the mall doing mostly window shopping because I can't afford a damn thing, I was looking over on Twitter and this thing came out. So we all know that everybody wants, or a lot of people wants, the Zack Snyder Cut for Justice League. And the petition actually went up to about like 120,000 people signed the petition. That's pretty awesome. Fukujan Fiona, she's all the way from China. She is Snyder Fandom galore. She put this out. She supports a hashtag release the Snyder Cut text on your favorite Man of Steel and Batman v Superman shot. We encourage you to join the challenge, reply, and submit your own bilingual release the Snyder Cut pick to this thread. My two examples are English and Mandarin. So she's putting this out, and these are just like the most awesome shots that Zack Snyder has done, and almost every single frame in this movie is shot like it's straight out of some kind of art museum, you know. So it's great to see that this Zack Snyder fan community, DCEU fans who really want to see that Zack Snyder cut of Justice League come out, they are really supporting this venture, and that's great. I love that they're doing this. There's a ton of them. You can just go here and look at all these different graphics of different countries who are supporting this thing, and I support it. I agree. I mean, I think petitions are awesome to show to the studios, to show anybody in political or whatever, to say that this is what you want, this is what we want, this is what we need. Trying to put a statement to these people. This is a great opportunity for fandom to come together and come together and do this kind of thing. Sign a petition, do the support, release the Snyder Cut. I think that's great. But ultimately, you know, this is a business, right? And Warner Brothers is a business. They're not in doing, they don't really, they say they support the directors, and they've done so with Patty Jenkins and probably hopefully Aquaman, James Wan's Aquaman. But for some reason, Zack Snyder's one, they've been cutting and they've been redoing the movie, all two movies. Now, Man of Steel, I think they pretty much left it alone. But after Man of Steel, for some reason, for Batman v Superman and Justice League, they kept doing these things to the film, to Zack Snyder's film. I enjoy Justice League, but I do know that upon watching Justice League, I knew they truncated that a lot, and they did a lot of different things to it. Joss Whedon shot a Batman scene opening. He wanted to make it more comedic. Of course, thankfully, they cut that down to make it a more serious one. So I'm glad for that. But there are a whole bunch of things that he added that was not in the original. So I'm very much interested to see a Zack Snyder cut. I don't know if the VFX was done. There are different people who say the VFX has been done. It has been completed 100%. And that's the one they show the WB execs. And then there are also those that say that's not true. The VFX is not done. Nothing in that capacity has been done, and they had to shoot some scenes with Joss Whedon at the directing chair. And so the release that we see in the theaters, that's the cut. That's it. There's nothing else. There is no Zack Snyder cut. That is actually more supported by something that came out today. So Eric Davis, who is from Fandango, he says release Snyder's director's cut, make $1 billion, problem solved. So he actually supported it as well, because the Snyder family has been supporting that. Zack Snyder seems to be supporting that. Sure, he liked the petition. So we're not sure what their case is on, but in this case, there was a VFX artist who came out on Reddit, and we know, we're not 100% confirmed if this is a real VFX artist or not, but Eric Davis seems to think so. So he said, according to a VFX artist who did some work on Justice League, there is no Snyder cut of the movie. It doesn't exist. And this is on Reddit. So LDN Film, he came out and said, I literally explained it. The film is found in the edit process. Rarely does a director start shooting with the entire film plotted out. Some things work, some things don't. There is no Snyder Cut. Obviously, he had a rough edit and process when he left in February, but the reshoots were done 6 months after that. He had no final version of the film. Yes, Zack would have probably done things differently to how the film turned out, but that's it. There isn't a secret Zack's version hidden somewhere. It doesn't exist. So, whether this is true or not, I'm not sure, and a lot of people aren't not sure, but there also has been more debate concerning this VFX artist. Some saying that that's not true. VFX has been done, and that's the show that's shown to WWE execs, like I said, and there's this using this as their evidence to show that, look, there's no Zack Snyder Cut. There's nothing out there. It's gonna cost a lot of money to do a Zack Snyder Cut because the VFX shots aren't done. I think Jeremy Conrad has said something in the lines of 75 million or 70 million to do that, to redo the VFX shots for that. So we're not sure. We're not sure what's going on with this. But one thing is for sure that is that this is Warner Brothers Studios, right? Warner Brothers Studios is a business model studio. You know, like they're more about business than art. They're not like Marvel Studios, not proclaiming them as that being great or anything, but Marvel Studios is Marvel Studios. They are owned by Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige controls the movies that come out. He does it for the sake of the art and not for the sake of the money, although money is part of it, but it's like comes second. Basically, you say you create a good story, you create a good art, it sells itself. In terms of Warner Brothers Studios, Warner Brothers Studios is the business entity that controls DC Films. DC Films was John Berg and Jeff Johns. They report to Diane Nelson. Diane Nelson versus Kevin Tsujihara. Kevin Tsujihara is a business guy. He's a business-centric guy. He's the one who says 2 hours. 2 hours, cut it down to 2 hours because he wants to be able to show this movie in more showings per theater, and that way you get more money. Of course, that kind of backfired. But that's his mentality, that's his thinking of it. So this is my proposal, and this is my own opinion, is that this version, Zack Snyder Cut, if this were to be released as the definitive cut, the extended cut, the cut that is supposed to be shown in theaters, that's going to look very bad. It's going to be, we're going to feel duped. I mean, general audience would be like, wait a minute. So this Blu-ray version that I have here, I paid $35 for. I could have just waited for this. Why did I go out and pay money to go to the theater and watch the non-true version? Okay, so there's that, because this is the version that they want to show in theaters that has the hope, the optimism, and everything that Jeff Johns wants. This is the version that they want to be canon. This is the canon version in the theater. And to continue that type of mentality, to continue that synergy of the DC Extended Universe, is to show that the Zack Snyder Cut is not the true version, even though we know it's a true version because it's the Zack Snyder film. But they cannot say that a Zack Snyder film theatrical cut is not the film. Okay, they can't say that's a fake film. Okay, they have to be the real version in the theaters. So what I propose is that they make an alternate cut, an Elseworlds cut. They can call it the Elseworlds version Justice League, to end that Zack Snyder trilogy, make the Zack Snyder fans happy, make the fans who are fans of the Man of Steel and Batman v Superman movies, the 120,000 people who are petitioning, make them happy. They see one version called alternate cut, you know, Zack Snyder cut. Well, it can't be called Zack Snyder, you probably got an Elseworlds cut, and that could be all on that one Blu-ray, including the true cut, or Warner Brothers dictating that's the true cut. So it makes them not look bad and give what these fans need. But that's going to take money. Money that's not just going to come out of nowhere unless you guys start a GoFundMe or some kind of donation towards Warner Brothers to do this. Right now, I haven't seen anything. Let me know if there is a GoFundMe. That'd be great. I put some money in it. To make this happen, even if the Zack Snyder Cut does exist or doesn't exist, both needs money, because it needs money to be produced. And the only way, this is the hard truth, the only way to support both, is to go out and watch this current iteration. Whatever you feel about it, if you don't enjoy it, the only way that they're going to see another version, or the chances of seeing a Zack Snyder cut, Elseworlds, alternative cut, whatever you want to call it, is to support the current iteration. Is that to go and buy a movie ticket at the theaters right now with Justice League. That's the only way. There is no other way unless you donate. So money talks. That's the way business works, and that's what Kevin Tsujihara, who owns this whole thing right now, he's looking at the dollar signs. He's looking at the well. If that well is empty, he ain't gonna put out for something that's extra. He's just gonna put it all in a DVD, throw it out there, and try to make money on the current iteration. But if they see a lot more money in it, they see a lot more money in order to produce something more for Justice League and Elseworlds Alternative and Ultimate Edition, whatever you want to call it, that's where he's going to look first. The money that the current iteration of Justice League makes. Now, I could be wrong, and they're already planning an extended division. They're already planning a Zack Snyder version. I could be totally wrong, and that'd be so awesome if I was wrong, because I support both versions. Yeah, I support the current iteration, and I support what the Zack Snyder version could be. Yes, please support the current iteration of Justice League. It'll support both the current fans who like this new vision, this course correction, and it'll also help the Zack Snyder fans, because this is the only chance, one of the only chances to actually see a Snyder cut. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.